Today on the Nerdy Gritty, we talk Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and difficulty options in games.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I'm Dez.
And I'm Fox. You know what I'm really excited for eventually when it comes out?
Kingdom Hearts 4.
I mean, with the trend of how, well, sure, I guess in 400
Someday,
years
yeah.
when that comes out. Now, with the trend and how it's going with recent trailers that we've seen, I'm really looking forward to that movie about Batman's butler's college roommates, dog groomers, fiancés,
Former
second
roommate.
cousins. There's a trailer. There's a movie about
Not a
Alfred
movie.
Pennyworth.
It's a TV show.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
Wait,
more content.
Wait. Alfred is legit. Okay. I want this.
It's called Pennyworth. It's garbage.
Man, it's not your garbage.
Yeah, well,
The reality matter
doesn't
is
mean they both. We can both be garbage.
Gartham.
I love from that old Gartham.
Gotham's last season is going to premiere next
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
And so we need our Batman fix.
Is
And they can't be
Alfred
Batman.
in Gotham?
Oh yeah, and
Okay.
he's one of the best characters in that. If not my favorite.
Is he
character
military
in
man
that
or is he
show.
just like butler guy?
He's just butler
but
guy.
wise butler guy.
Wise butler guy with like Bruce Wayne is not off on like his trips doing
He hasn't
everything.
left yet.
Alfred is teaching Bruce Wayne.
Oh.
Alfred is absolutely former military, former RAF,
Gotcha.
and
Sure.
he is teaching Bruce Wayne all this stuff. And it is, again, Alfred could be my favorite character in
All
this
right.
show.
Sure.
It's really, really cool.
Okay.
Anyway, Fox, what have you been up to other than being wrong? What have you been
Well,
up
that's
to?
mostly what I do with my life. I've been playing Sekiro. We're going to talk about this a lot. But here's my review. I hate it, and I really love it. I've played all three Dark Souls games to varying extents. Number 1, I played a lot. Number 2, I beat. And number 3, a very small amount. And I played Bloodborne, a good amount of Bloodborne. This one by far is the hardest of any of them.
I think that's pretty
I played
universally
even
accepted.
Demon Souls a tiny bit way back on the PS3. I didn't know what it was, and I was really like put off by how it presented itself. And I played it. I brought it back to GameStop pretty quickly. But this one is by far the most difficult that I've played.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm glad. We just beat The World Next Door,
we did.
an indie game that was we were given a review copy from Rose City Games and Viz Media. Thank you guys very much for
Right.
that. And we played through it, and it's mostly a visual novel with
Yes.
a touch of kind of side quest searching around,
Right.
and more importantly, a combat system that I cannot get
You were
enough
all
of.
about that combat system.
Cannot get enough.
It's basically a match 3, but with more urgency because there are enemies you're fighting
Right.
using that match 3. And that's
Yeah.
a thing in match 3 games, but this is they're on the board and fighting you. You have to avoid them or strategically use the right things at the right time. Some of them even use those spaces like for the match 3. So yeah.
It was intense. It definitely challenged my brain as well as my reflexes.
Right.
It hit just so many different notes. Each enemy was unique.
Yeah.
And you had to approach it differently.
Yep.
And then there would be times when they would combine enemies, and you would have to entirely change your strategy.
Right.
Because now you've got a whole new issue to deal with here, and it was just, oh my gosh, I have already begun it and about a third of the way through the game.
Really?
For a second time.
Again? Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Oh no, yeah, I watched
Let's just go back and forth. I got things too.
very almost spur of the moment. We went and saw Lego Movie 2, my wife and I. It was fine. It was $4 at the theater we went to.
Oh, yeah.
So it was worth that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, it was whatever.
I've been rereading some books already because I ran out of all my books for the year that I had set aside.
So you're rereading ones you've already read?
Yep. I mean, nothing,
Get more books?
I know, it's just so hard though. I mean, I started the Potter books again. But,
that's fair.
Yeah, but I reread the Adventures Zone graphic novel that you got me, actually.
yeah.
Here They Be Gerblins. And the first time I read it as like a nostalgic run through the first arc of their story.
Sure.
And it was fun and it was good and I liked it. I reread it the second time to really like dig into the story. And what I got this time through it that I missed the first time for sure was the really dramatic moments that they just like pin in there and you don't realize it at the time.
Because it's the Funny Mackle Boys.
Exactly. But they do have like, there'll just be a page of like seriousness or like 2 pages of sort of like really rough moments. And the art in there is just fantastic. Like they do a really good job of like just having really dramatic, like there's a moment in which an entire town explodes, literally an entire town explodes. And there's just a full page panel because they dove into a well to save themselves from it. And it's just all black except for a single like light beam of light coming down to the well, and then there's all 3 of them at the bottom. And there's just like this moment where you know that they failed. I am, and none of them listen to this, so it's okay. I am coming to my first big reveal in my D&D campaign. I'm really excited for this. So I've built like this entire world in which we played a 4-year campaign in which we had these characters that we took from like level 3 to level 19 or 20. And we fell in love with them, long history. And then we've done a couple of other like campaigns since then, little things here and there. And it's been probably 2 years since that. I'm actually bringing our old characters back as villains in this arc.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's really cool so far.
And you're going to control them.
Yes.
So they're going to feel like they should be able to control them.
They're going to feel frustrated and upset with the way that they're acting, and there's a reason for that.
Okay.
It's because I'm actually weaving this into the actual timeline. The whole bottom line is, hey, if one of you guys are happening to listen to this, just skip here.
Shut up.
Just skip like 30 seconds ahead.
Wait, when are you revealing this? I mean, it depends on when they get.
Probably 2 sessions is going to be my guess.
Okay, I got you.
But it, like, there's one all-powerful wizard, like there always is. Whatever.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah. And she has created like what I call animate art. She's an artist and she's able to paint something and then bring it to life.
Sure.
And she has just painted these heroes of old to work for her. And
there's a character like that in Usagi Yojimbo, but instead he paints giant monsters like kaiju, and it's awesome. And then at one point Godzilla fights one of them.
Like actual Godzilla?
In Usagi,
That's
yes.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Man.
Usagi comes across a giant egg way early in his adventures, and it hatches, and it's this like reptile-looking thing that says "Zilla, Zilla," and he says, "Are you a Godzilla?" And that's where his name comes from.
Nice.
And then he comes back later. Usagi's great. But that's all I have to talk about.
Well, that's all I have. I just really wanted to bring that up because
it's a lot less than it has been.
I'm really excited for this D&D arc that
it sounds awesome.
Man. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Well, so let's get down to the nerdy gritty. But first.
Hey guys, we wanted to talk to you about our Patreon. We've had it for a while now, and we just want to let you know that there are some really great benefits to being a patron of ours. At the $1 level, our basic level, even then you get a production credit in all the things that we make with the money we get from Patreon.
Access to our Discord.
Yeah, and access to Discord, as well as just getting to know, like, the what's the word I'm looking for? The pride of having supported something you like. As we have also higher tiers, $5 and $10. That's the 3 that we have right now. $5 gets you back behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes videos, unedited versions of this podcast. In fact, what you just heard, if you are not a $5 or above, actually has been edited down. It's been shortened. And if you'd like to hear more of what we talk about, more of what we do each week in our pathetic nerd lives, then if you want to jump on our Patreon and just support us at $5 a month, you'll gain access to what we call the director's cut. Now, to be clear, where we go after this, our main topic each week, we don't edit that down. That's the important part. That's
right.
Unless
what
we
do.
Do
Go
this.
off on a way side tangent that is unimportant.
Sure. But that's why we do this podcast, because we like talking about these things at a real depth, and we don't want to like exclude you from that conversation. So at our $5 and $10, you'll get access to all of this. At $10, you'll also be able to just kind of contribute to your opinion to what games we play, topics that we discuss. So we just want to thank you for supporting in whatever way you already do, even if it's just listening to this. You are invaluable to us. You're why we do this, and also because we like to hear ourselves talk. And
see, we say that a lot, but I don't listen to our own podcast.
Oh no, We like to listen to ourselves talk as
while
we
we're
talk.
talking.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we do this anyway. Now we just record it and put
That's
it on the
literally
internet.
why we started this podcast. Because we do this anyway.
So yeah, thank you so much for all of your support. And if you have the means, we'd love for you to go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dezandfox. Dezandfox, that's what it is.
Patreon.com/dezandfox.
Yes.
So recently, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice came out. It's a new From Software game. From Software being the company that is known for making some of these very popular, challenging games.
Infamously known for
called Dark Souls and Bloodborne
and Demon's
Souls.
Way back when. Demons.
So Soulsborne is the genre.
Soulsborne is the genre they've essentially created.
Yes. And the whole idea of these games are they're very, very challenging, and you have to essentially get good. That is the
yes.
That is the running joke. Is if people are complaining about its difficulty, the response is get good.
Get good at it.
But in a lot of ways, you learn, you try again, and there is a very easy respawn that you get to go through.
Right. Yeah. You'll have checkpoints and stuff. Another big part of its difficulty, if you listen to any of my videos that I put on YouTube for it.
Well, we're talking about Soulsborne right now, not Sekiro.
Okay, sure. But if you ever witness me playing any one of these games, you'll hear me say lots of things that contradict this idea, but their difficulty is fair.
Yes.
With some mild exceptions that are just part of how they do it, and we can get into that. But if something should happen, it probably does.
Right.
The enemies usually follow the same rules that you do. And so if you can fall off a cliff, so can that villain.
Absolutely.
And if you can guide them over there and make it happen, you can just push a giant monster off a cliff and win that way. But yeah, that's kind of what to me defines their difficulty.
The first time I played through Dark Souls, I attacked an NPC because I knew he was a baddie, and he was hardcore winning, and then he just happened to roll off a cliff on accident.
I love it.
Thanks,
Yay,
bye.
And then a couple seconds later, souls just come up.
Yeah,
and you're
it's wonderful.
Yes. Yeah.
So they've had this reputation for a while of being very difficult.
Yes.
Sekiro releases, and it is a new level of difficulty.
Nope, I did not expect.
Nobody expected.
Yes, I didn't think they could do this.
Right. And so they have made a game that is as good, if not better, in gameplay than their previous games, debatably.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
of
it's really going to be up
games.
to your opinion on what. Yeah.
But it's clean and it's fun, and the combat is challenging.
Yes.
And this one, more than ever, probably involves practicing and actually getting good. In fact, they provide you with a guy that he is unkillable.
He's Hanbei the Infested.
Right. He is immortal, but also will not kill you.
Here's what he says: a warm body might be good to try out your skills on. I suggest mine.
Yeah, and you can just go try. You practice with him all that you want. You practice.
He can't hurt you either. So
right. So there's this whole mindset of, okay, you need to practice, but
yes,
it is punishing.
So yeah, I've been playing this. I'm probably 10 to 12 hours into it,
and you've completed 1% of the game.
Maybe. I've beaten a couple bosses, but yeah, I am not really that much into it, that far into it.
50 hours into it, and I've almost beaten the first boss.
Yeah, I'll get him someday. And yeah, I am upset. I get angry a whole lot in this game. I have an episode that I've put up on YouTube. I think it comes out tomorrow or the next day. But it's called Rage Taking a Break. Because it's not rage quitting. It's rage. Okay, I recognize that I need to take a break.
It's time to go.
I need to I can feel my hackles getting raised. And is that the term?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I can feel like I'm getting, this isn't going to help. I'm rage taking a break. So yeah, it is very difficult. Now, here's what I'll say about the difficulty of this game. It is different than the difficulty of others in how the difficulty is achieved.
Right.
So with Dark Souls, the Dark Souls series and Bloodborne, there is a pretty classic RPG type level up system. from each enemy, you gain souls, which can be used to purchase things and whatnot. But it's also your experience that you can spend a certain, like every level it takes more, but you spend it to level up to raise a stat of your choice. So you can very specifically decide, I want to have lots of HP. I want to be stronger. I want to be faster. You decide exactly how your character behaves.
Right.
In Sekiro, they have taken away this level up system.
Right.
There are ways to improve your stats, but they are only, in my experience, gotten from items dropped by enemies. And the only enemies that drop them are very specific bosses and mini bosses. And enemies that will only drop them once, because after you defeat them, they will not come back. So, your character's stats raise after you get good, basically.
Right.
It's a reward rather than a mechanic, really, that you can exploit, which is a very different system.
So all of this has come to a head, and in previous years, Soulsborne versions, there has always been a conversation of, is it too hard? Is Dark Souls too hard?
Yes.
And essentially what people have always said is, no, stop it. Grind, learn, keep going.
Right.
Grind, learn, keep going. Sekiro comes out, and for the first time ever, grind isn't really an option.
It's not an option.
And
you can learn.
And so for the first time, this is actually getting traction.
Yes.
There are many people that are discussing and giving support to this idea. Does Sekiro need an easy mode?
Yes. Well, that's not my answer. That's my I'm just agreeing.
Right.
That is kind of the situation.
Which, by the way, there is difficulty options in this.
Are there?
There's your mode and an even harder one.
Those are your choices. Well, I'm assuming there's like New Game Plus and everything.
No, there's a secret area that you can get to, and if you ring a bell, it raises the difficulty of everything.
So I'm playing easy mode right now?
Easy mode right now.
I'm bad at video games. I can't wait for Final Fantasy X to come out in a couple weeks. I can beat that game with my eyes closed. Oh man, that's gonna raise my spirits.
As the one who has been playing this game, I mean, obviously I haven't played it at all. I've watched a lot of streams and stuff, but someone who's playing
You're aware of what the game is like.
Absolutely. Does it need an easy mode?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, because all games should have an easy mode.
Fox, this is a podcast. We're meant to talk about these things for like an hour.
It's over. Bye, guys. No. I firmly believe that every game should have an easy sail through it and experience the story mode. For a lot of reasons. Because some people don't have 100 hours to invest in a game that requires a whole lot of time investment to beat it. So, like if you're a parent and have children you have to take care of and only maybe have a little bit of time each week to play games, but want to play it, like still put the strategy in there, but just make the enemies easy to defeat. But I believe Sekiro should have an easy mode, not necessarily because it's too difficult. Although that's a pretty compelling argument. I do believe that it should have one because there are people I think that should be standard.
Okay, I'm glad that you said that because I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
Really?
Yeah, I think absolutely not.
I'm putting this in the category of all games should have color swap possibilities so that people who are colorblind can still see all the dialogue and
yes,
where it's like an
that's significantly different.
Well, I'm putting it as an accessibility issue.
Okay. Let's start with your first
aspect.
thing, though. You said so somebody can experience it. I think that's almost like a sense of entitlement. Like, I deserve to experience all of this game and its gameplay, even though it's too hard for me. When the reality of the matter is no, you don't. It's too hard for you. You can't beat it. Okay, that sucks. That's rough. That's bad. I get it. If you just want to hear the story, there's YouTube.
Well, on the other hand, you don't want people to play it if they can't beat it at the highest difficulty? That's an entitlement right there, too. Only people who can get as good as I am are allowed to play this game. Like, if you're going the entitlement argument, it's the same thing on either direction.
That's not because
it's excluding somebody who can't do a certain thing.
That's not From Software isn't saying you have to be elite to play this game. They're saying this is what we wanted to make. Here it is.
Sure.
It's not about elitism for them, and they're not standing saying, "You're clearly not good enough to play our game."
Oh, okay. So if it's not about elitism, then why not include everybody, even in those who might not be able to reach that level?
This is my main argument here for why not. This is an artistic vision.
Okay.
Not everything should be easy to consume in art. I don't think that we should make Schindler's List easy to watch so people can get the story in it. I don't think that all Mozart should. I don't think there should be easy Mozart so everybody can play Mozart. And in the same way, I don't think there should be an easy mode on Sekiro so everybody can play Sekiro.
I think there's a false equivalency there. I don't think easy mode on Schindler's List is a different piece of art, which is also true for Sekiro. I'd agree with that. Yeah. It's a different experience, but it still has a story that somebody should be willing to could want to understand or experience firsthand. Like if they, just watching on YouTube is not the same as playing through. Right. What I'm saying is, don't just bypass. Don't put it on Super Mario World, where if you lose 3 times, then you just get invincible mode and can literally just soar through the level. I'm saying just drastically reduce the difficulty of it, where it still requires the strategy. It still has all of the mechanics in the game. Some bosses are more difficult than others. It still has if you die, you lose your resource. It has all these things, but it allows for people who don't have time, don't have the physical ability, or people with physical disabilities may not be able to have the reflexes to do what they need to do with the controller.
Right.
Allow those people to still experience. You're excluding a sizable part of the audience of video games if the toll for playing the game is your physical abilities have to reach this level, or you have to dedicate this amount of time to the game to be able to experience the whole story. I think it's in From Software's best interest to allow this to be a thing.
But this isn't the only video game.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
what if it's something that somebody wants to play?
And sometimes you can't. That's just the bottom line. So there are some people who are not going to be able to eat at the best restaurants and do the nicest things in the world, and that's just life. Sometimes you just can't.
Right. I'm not saying that they should. I understand your argument. You feel like, oh, well, I want to play this game. So that's there's a difference though between I'm entitled to play this game because I have $60 to buy it, and I physically cannot. You have now excluded me from playing this game because I have this physical disability and cannot react as fast as the game requires me to beat it.
If we're just talking about physical disabilities, though, then it's more than just Sekiro that we could bring up. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of games out there that,
absolutely.
And I think that requiring or asking every single game developer to consider every single disability and make it easily accessible to every single disability is too much.
I disagree.
I feel like that's something that you'd have to go so in depth to and take so much of your time to make a single video game that we would get less good content because of the concern.
I think we'd have less content.
Yes, that as well, but also less good content. The games have deadlines. They have people, they have a limited amount of manpower, a limited amount of finances, a limited amount of time. They have limitations on so many different levels.
But here's the thing. It sounds like you're trying to say that the game has to be this way and only this way. No, we're talking about easy mode. We're talking about a choice that a player makes. This would be, if you're worried about speed runs or things like that, or streams, people will be able to see what you're doing. You can't just say, oh yeah, I beat it in 20 minutes because no problem. No, you beat it on easy mode. Who cares? That kind of thing. This is a conscious choice. Now, okay, let me come at it from a different angle. There are things in games, one that comes to mind is in Dark Souls 3, I believe, or 2 maybe. There is a ring that you can put on where when you're wearing it, you will not lose any souls when you die. Right. It breaks, but it's actually fairly cheap to repair it and just use it every time.
Yeah.
That is the easy mode of that game.
Right.
So essentially, that's an option already in a certain game that's supposed to be difficult for people. So why not just say, here's easy mode? Like, why put it or in like Pokemon, whatever, the most recent Pokemon games have experience share from basically the very beginning, which means all of your Pokemon in your party get
Right.
experience after defeating someone instead of just the ones who participated, which basically means the game is now on easy mode. You can sail through that because all of your Pokemon are leveling constantly and you never have
Right.
to grind. So if we already have those types of things in game, which you choose to use or choose not to use depending on what your desired difficulty is, why not include something like that in Sekiro? Even if it's not just easy or standard difficulty, what if it's, you go in and you have this thing that you can buy that doubles your HP? That really wouldn't help for some of the bosses because they'll just straight up one-shot you.
Right.
But, but it does make it easier and still experience everything else.
And it all comes down to one thing for me, because that's not a bad argument. And you're right, if this were not a piece of art. This is a piece of art, and the people who made it had an artistic vision, and this is what they wanted to create.
But it's a piece of art that requires a person to interact with it.
And a lot of people are.
And if a person can't interact with it, don't have the time, like if you said, Schindler's List, it's an amazing movie. Everybody should watch it. Oh, I can't because well then, sorry, sucks for you. You don't get to experience this. No, try to find a way for that person. I think it's a very simple thing for a game developer to put in a quote unquote easy mode to allow people who don't have the ability to play it as originally envisioned to be able to experience it in some capacity.
I'm not saying that it won't be. Again, I would assume, we don't know, we're not developers.
Right.
I would assume that, like you said, doubling your HP or
put a little thing in where before an enemy attacks, it like quickly pauses and you have an extra split second to react or something like that.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it wouldn't be difficult. But what if that's just not what they wanted to make? What if they don't want to? Like, they're from software. We don't deserve them to make an easy mode. At the bottom line, they made what they wanted to make. Now, later on, if they decide, you know what, we do want to make an easy mode, sure, that's fine too. But if they stand there and they just say, we don't want to, we made what we wanted to make, this is good enough, this is the piece of art that we wanted to create, we don't deserve to whine about that.
Well, we can whine about anything we want.
Yes.
Yeah, no, obviously.
I'm not saying we can't. I'm saying we
obviously
don't deserve
From
to.
Software can do whatever the crap they want. Like,
Right.
We're not coercing them. We're not like putting a gun to their head and saying do this or else. But I think it would be in From Software's best. That's the argument I'm making. If more people get to experience what they have put out there, experience the story they're telling, and experience the combat mechanics they've created, even if it is less difficult than the original vision, then they're still making $60 off of somebody who bought that game. Like they're still getting somebody out there to experience the story of Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Absolutely. And if their goal was exclusively to make money off of it, if this were exclusively a money-making thing, then I think it would be in their best interest to put it in easy mode.
Sure.
But maybe it's not.
Sure. We talked about The World Next Door before.
Right.
And you said, I love this game, but I really want there to be more combat.
Right.
And if you went to them and said, or if they said to you, no, that's not what we wanted to make. Sure, obviously. But also, that'd be great, and I would love to play. Like, we have desires as the audience, and we don't get to like determine what people put in their games. But there is a dialogue back and forth. Like, I feel like they should listen.
Mm-hmm.
They should do this thing. I do think that we can complain, though. I think that's okay to do.
I don't think complaining is the right thing to do. I think saying, man, that's real hard, I wish it were easier, is fine. But the amount of people that are saying...
that is complaining, but...
I guess. To me, complaining is just a negative. Like, when you have 3 children, ages 8 and under...
Yeah, if it's not in a whiny tone, it doesn't mean it's not complaining.
But, see... You talked about The World Next Door earlier, and I think the way that you even went about it, I think is exactly right. Where I said, I want more of it. And if they said, actually what we really wanted to do was introduce the story, our whole idea was on the story and to get you like the characters. The combat was fun. We're glad you liked it. We worked really hard on it, but that's not our goal. And so we're not planning on making any more of that. I would say thumbs up. Awesome for you. You had your artistic vision, you made it, and even though me and maybe whoever else wants a lot more of that combat, you're saying we are proud of our artistic vision and we met what we wanted to do. I would give them a thumbs up, and I would say, good for you. I'm disappointed because I want more of the combat, but I totally understand. You made your artistic vision, good job. And I think that if From Software comes to this exact same conclusion, if everybody comes to them and says, we want an easy mode, we want an easy mode, and they say, actually, man, we made our artistic vision. This is what we want. And what we wanted was really challenging and really brutal. And we know that. We're aware of that. And we made exactly what we want to make. You're asking us to dilute our vision. And we're not going to do that.
I think the difference here, though, is that if you went to if the world next door was, they didn't have the options for, like if it was, like if they had voiceovers for all the dialogue in the game, but no option for subtitles, and you went and said, I'm deaf, I want to experience your story, but I have no idea what's going on. They said, sorry, nope, we just wanted people to be able to hear it and not be able to read what people are saying. So sorry. Like, that's the difference here. If somebody cannot, like, I completely understand. Like, the idea of an easy mode here is not to just appease people who can't get good. To me, an easy mode is mainly for people who cannot make it cannot play the game how it's supposed to be played originally, so that they can still experience the piece of art. But it's the same reason why you would listen to an aria from an opera instead of have to experience the entire thing. Or like to give somebody like a preview of a movie or something where it's like, it's not the original thing. Preview's not really the right thing to do. It's not really the whole thing.
Right.
But here's a way to experience it without, so that without having to be in the same exact place that they envisioned the audience was, physically or time-wise, or in the place of life that that kind of thing.
I think I need to clarify then what my point is, because I agree with everything you just said. It would be good, and you know what?
This is a good debate.
Yeah, I'm not even saying you're right. No.
Okay, bye.
I'm not even saying that it would be bad for From Software to put in the easy mode. What I am saying is I don't think they should do it just because everybody's demanding it.
Oh, well, sure.
I think that they should live up to their artistic vision, and that's it, and nothing else. Yes, it's good that there are pieces of art that are broken down so people can experience it. Yes, it's better when art is experienced on a much wider level. But here's a comparison. We played The Quiet Man at PAX.
Yes.
Was it past year or 2 years ago? Whatever it was.
Last year.
We played with The Quiet Man, and it was bad.
It was a bad game.
It was bad.
It came out already. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
And it was bad still.
Yeah, it came and
what
left.
we played was the final product.
Yes. But there were cutscenes in which people signed each other.
Mm-hmm.
And no subtitles, no option for subtitles or anything like that. I didn't walk away saying, I deserve to play that game. They have to put in subtitles. Or even thinking to myself, they need to put in subtitles. I walked away thinking to myself, man, they're going to get a lot more fans and things are going to go a lot better for them if they were to put in subtitles.
Sure.
And they didn't. And guess what? It flopped. That's not the only reason why. It was a bad game.
It was just a bad game.
But
every part of it was just, what?
But that was a big part of why it flopped. Now we come to Sekiro, and it's really similar. It's a good game, though. It's a very good game. And I walk away thinking to myself, man, if they want the entire fandom, if they want more people playing it, if they want, they should put it in easy mode.
Right.
But if that's not what they want, they should not.
Sure. Lots of games with difficulty modes do include a little description of each difficulty. Sometimes it's the ultra nightmare, whatever, and it's like you will die, and then it's the easy, and it's
in real life.
If it's will come and kill you. In like in Wolfenstein at the bottom, or it has like what's his name, BJ Blazkowicz sitting next, and he has like more blood on his face, the harder difficulty at the bottom. He's got like a pacifier in his mouth, and it's hilarious. It makes fun of you for choosing the easy option. And a lot of those say, though, at the medium difficulty, whatever standard is, this is how it was meant to be experienced. Just say that. It's that simple. They have they've released Sekiro their final. I'm sure there were things that they wanted to add to it, like like we learned
Right.
a few months ago when we saw that Twitter thread about, if there was an idea that there's that you've had about it, we probably try it and then weren't able to get it in there. I'm sure there were things they wanted to put in Sekiro and things that will be patched in, things DLC, whatever. But they have released Sekiro, their artistic vision of the game.
Right.
The question we asked at the beginning of this is, should there be an easy mode? Absolutely. Because that doesn't take away from what is already there. That doesn't remove. It's like putting in doing a remake of a classic movie. Yeah, maybe that movie sucks and it doesn't live up to the original. Doesn't mean the original doesn't exist. Doesn't mean the original isn't a classic anymore. Easy mode would not be the same. It would not be their original artistic
you know what
vision.
We say when people make remake and it's bad? That the original people are offended by it. That the original artistic vision is rolling in its grave. Like, we say that the original art is offended. That's something that you and I say.
Do I?
Yes. You and I talked about Robin Williams rolling over in his grave. You made a joke about that on this very podcast.
Sure. But that doesn't make the animated Aladdin movie from the 90s any less good. Doesn't mean it's not the vision that they had when they created that movie. Doesn't mean we can't experience the original Disney version. I mean, this is another Disney version, but like From Software has created their vision of what they wanted to make.
And again, they can if they want to. And I'm not even saying that they shouldn't. What I am saying is I don't think that they should do it because
it's a classic
we say so.
Debate problem when you're actually coming at it from different questions in mind.
Right.
But yeah, no, because we agree with each other on both of these points.
Right.
But we're arguing two different things. But it's okay because we want to know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Yeah. Have you played Sekiro? Oh, you're not done? I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Done.
I've been saying the same thing 40 times.
Right.
It's what I do in an argument, so go ahead.
At the end of the day, do I think that they should? No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Because I think what they have made is what they want to make, and it is unique, and it is artistic, and it is beautiful.
Sure.
And it is a situation right now where the difficulty is part of the game.
Yeah.
It is part, to me, when I watch people play it, I feel like I'm watching an actual shinobi. An actual shinobi who's an idiot and got attacked by 3 people at one time.
And then resurrected from the dead.
Exactly.
And then
just like
used
Shinobi
magic
did.
water to
Just
heal
like
themselves.
Shinobi did in feudal Japan.
And fought a guy on a horseback who's 90 feet tall.
Yes.
And
just like
just like
Japan.
real life. Gotta maintain that artistic that integrity there. Can't put an easy mode. That would make it unrealistic.
My point is, not that would make it unrealistic.
No, I know.
That what they made is something unique and beautiful, and to mainstream it, I think would hurt what Sekiro is. If they want to, fine. I'm not going to get mad at them for it. Whatever.
How dare
do
you?
I think they should? No. I think Sekiro is an incredible game, unique game, a beautiful game. I don't think it's going to get marked down for its difficulty by the reviewers. I think they're going to say it's hard, but it's still fun to play until you break your controller.
It gets marked down in my book because I like my standard practice in a game is if it's hard, then I want, like an RPG, I want to grind and grind and grind until I am so over leveled.
Let me be very clear. I'm not going to play Sekiro.
I regret starting, but I'm still going to play. I want to throw myself at that brick wall and just by sheer force of will knock it over. Not because I'm skilled at it, but because it just cannot stand before me.
I'm waiting for next week Fox to return a
I
broken
quit.
man. Yeah.
Game sucks. I haven't made any progress. Snake Eyes, what's his name, is a garbage enemy. He shoots you in the face.
Let me know what you guys think. Let us know. No, just me. Let Des know what you guys think. Fox doesn't care. No,
I don't. It's
Let
bad.
us know what you guys
love it.
think about Sekiro, about the possibility of an easy mode. Let us know what you think about artistic integrity. Would making things more accessible hurt artistic integrity? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments.
It's a binary answer.
Yes or no. Nothing. Just
Nothing in
that.
between. No gray here.
Yep. No. Always remember that if you really enjoyed this conversation, it helps us a lot if you share it, if you go and tell people about it, when you rate us on whatever podcast aggregator you're listening to. Really, really helps us. Thanks again, guys, for listening. And remember, saved games die twice.
Save games. Save more than 2 lives.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.